everyone, welcome to Social Media Hangout Time. I'm here today with Lisa Lean. Hey
Hey
Lisa,
everybody, it's great to see you. Hi Janet.
we're just going to kind of,
Kimmy's lurking in the background there.
I see her. Yes, she is lurking, so I'm glad that we kind of have Kimmy around. She's not going to be part of the conversation today. We're going to be conversating just you and I, kind of talking our feedback on what we've
You
seen
bet.
on the Facebook, on the latest stuff with Facebook. We have had a lot of changes just this last week that a lot of people are in an uproar. We may be
Right.
speaking to somebody right now that's kind of in an uproar saying, you know what, I just want to be done with Facebook. I'm sick of it. And so we want to address that and just kind of get into the conversation of what, should they give up Facebook? Maybe, maybe not. Should they continue on the path but figure out a different strategy? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today a little more, is
Right.
kind of figuring out that different strategy, just because it's not the same as it used to be. Now, Lisa, when did you get on Facebook the first time? Do you have any idea?
Boy, I don't even remember, but I think when I was on MySpace and Facebook came along,
Me
I
too.
was I might have actually been on Twitter before I was on Facebook.
Huh,
It was
okay.
very close together. I don't remember. Been a number of years, but
I
it's
think mine was 2007, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
would have been around that time. 2007.
So, and back in the first year, 2 years, I mean, when we started, do you remember seeing everybody's post in that newsfeed?
Oh, it was so much fun because I knew everybody in that news feed, and then all of a sudden stuff populated that I had no idea who they were, or why it was there, or the things that I used to see didn't show up. So, it changes and it evolves, but the reality is there's more and more people that get on it every day too. So when you
That's
first
true.
start on a platform, obviously the opportunity to show up more is because there's fewer people on it. But as you get more and more people on, just like on the internet, I remember being one of the first people in our office to use email, literally email,
Let me
instead
guess.
of the
Wait, AOL.
AOL, yeah, and it was instead of the
Mine was Yahoo.
inner office envelopes, and because we not everybody had email, I had to print my email off and put it in an inner office envelope because the person that I was emailing didn't have access yet. So
Nice.
it's really cool. It's really
Oh,
funny.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is.
So anyway, I mean, it,
Yeah,
it evolves,
it
and
does. It does.
you have to adjust. And a lot of times it's figuring out why are you there in the first place. And I know you're
Very
going
good
to
point.
talk about, your mindset as things change, and so that you're not so frustrated when they do change. You figure out how can I fit my business into this change versus I'm done.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, and we have a lot of small business owners that our target is the small business owners, entrepreneurs, and sometimes they don't have a large budget, but there are a lot of business owner pages that have a page on Facebook, but yet they used to send out mailings. Let's just talk about people, the dentist orthodontist. That's a lot of people we bring up a lot. And what were their marketing pieces in the late 90s? What were they doing? What would you
Well,
say?
they were paying for yellow book ads or the yellow pages,
We
and
forget
now
the
kids
name,
are,
huh?
yeah, yellow pages, and now kids are sitting on that book. But the reality is the cost was so much greater for a smaller amount or smaller audience, and you literally couldn't say only deliver to the homes that have kids.
Exactly.
It was
Exactly.
everybody in the neighborhood, so
Exactly.
they weren't your target market.
Nope. Nope. I mean, the newspapers, the billboards. I mean, think about it. I know the Gold guys. They do the billboards, huge
Yeah,
billboards, thousands of dollars a month, and they're randomly targeting the people driving by. Who is that
right.
target market? How do they even know who's seeing that ad if they even look up? But it's thousands of dollars a month, and people are complaining because they have to spend money on Facebook where they can actually specifically target their audience. and
Absolutely.
narrow it down to,
Yeah.
for a dentist, it's usually the moms who are purchasing for the children. And so
Okay.
you could say women, specifically of a certain age, and target, way hone in on spending money only with those, the target market of your people. Target fans.
Well, and the age groups too. I mean, there's certain age
Mm-hmm.
groups that maybe, especially with the orthos, when do they start saying, hey, it's probably good to look at having braces? So any of those groups that those people are involved in, you target those groups because that's where your audience is. It just
Yeah.
gives you a lot more opportunity to be very selective with who you want to get in front of.
Mm-hmm.
Messaging is critical, and you have to learn how to be creative and speak to your audience, but also how to listen to your audience and deliver the value that they are looking for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the other point. Yeah, you're exactly right. You have to be speaking, know who you're speaking to. Like, so if you
Right.
are that dentist, orthodontist office, are you actually talking to the parents, the moms, or are you talking to the children? Which one is your target market? And that's something you want to look at your insights and be very specific, because here's the thing. Who are the purchasers? The mothers. Who are more likely on the page? Well, what I've learned by looking at insights, for the majority that I work with, way more is the moms between 35 and 45 than the teenagers. So you know what? You can
Sure.
cater to them a little bit, but don't worry about them so much, because they're actually not the ones that are going to purchase. Even though they're the ones putting it on their teeth, it's the moms. So it's
Right.
something to really think about, narrowing it down to the very, very specific target audience and talking to them what they want to hear. And the thing is, what people want to hear on Facebook is fun. Like, you, going back to Lisa, what you said, you knew everybody before. It was interesting.
Yeah.
We're wanting to be there for more fun. We don't want to get a bunch of ads in front of us, but it
Right.
is the way it is now, where there are ads. And so you need to figure out for your page how to get those ads in the proper way, to the
Well,
proper
and
people.
what information can you give that is going to be shared? Because you're speaking to the moms and you're speaking to the audience. Well, if a mom sees something on a dental office that's cute or fun, like the picture of the horse with the big teeth and the braces on, I think I've seen that picture before. I've seen that shared quite a bit because it's interesting, but when they do that, then it brings along that dental office's name, which is that's what you want. You want that viral referral partners, I call them, the online referral partners, people that are going to help spread your message. And it might
Hmm.
not be a direct, hey, you got to go see the dentist, but it's definitely going to be something that's of interest to them that's going to share it. And then subconsciously, it's like, oh, I think I've seen that dental name before.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah, and yeah, if they have their logo on it, and or logo or website, we a lot of times with our custom images, obviously we putting a whole website on there, because it could go in front of somebody else that has never seen it before. And let's get into the other subject matter, Lisa, we were talking about, is bringing them, that kind of turns into, we don't want them to necessarily stay on Facebook, correct?
yeah, no, I think it's really important to use Facebook to find your target audience, the most potential customers, because they're all on Facebook. We know that. So what you do is you use Facebook as a tool to get them onto your email list so that you can take them offline and start engaging with them. And maybe it's getting them to a webinar or a seminar, a live presentation, an open house, but people aren't even know that you exist, but they might have found you on Facebook. So if you can give them something of value that they would like, get them on your email list and start communicating with them off of Facebook where they're not distracted by millions of different ads, then I think you have a better chance of turning over and getting your customers. So, yeah, I'm all for Nice cat
I
back there,
know.
Kevin.
He always joins us
Hello.
every day. We always
Hello.
have Kitty has to join us. I know. Yeah, he
That's
drops
fun.
himself down.
Hey, but it's all about being real, right? We're real
Yeah,
people and things happen,
exactly.
and that's actually what brings some of that personality to life. So it's a good example, and if in your offices, using video in your offices and sharing that on Facebook is another way. So, maybe you want to speak to the video part and how powerful that is on Facebook.
Yeah, it is. And in 2015, I think it's going to grow even more. And I do believe a video strategy now is going to be a must in 2015. I believe in 2014 it was a must. It grew tremendously. But the thing that has changed with video, though, and being that I'm an advocate of YouTube, it's hard for me, but you need to have YouTube, but you also need to not post your YouTube video direct to Facebook. And so, being that I just had this conversation with one of the offices that I consult, and we talked about different video strategies. And I said, for simple office ones, a great way to do it is just through your Instagram, because Instagram, obviously, and Facebook are all coordinated. And then get that video on your Facebook, and then that pushes to Twitter too. But that doesn't help your YouTube exposure. So you don't want to forget about YouTube. The second piece of it is you can also do YouTube videos, and like we do, Lisa, and we pull sometimes from our YouTube video, download it, take a clip of it, and then upload that direct to Facebook, because Facebook wants you to directly upload the videos. But I do think having a specific video strategy of some sort is extremely important. And when you have this, I just did that blog post that I did for Post Planner recently, and we can put a link to that in our show notes, is all about these different videos that he posted on his personal page, just showing, fun things happening on their trip. He wasn't even promoting his business, but it was showing the business.
Right.
So it wasn't a promotional post,
But that's what people like, to work with people. And so once they get to know you, they feel like they know you because they've been through your vacation with you. They see your goofy side. They see you, with your makeup on, or they might see you with your makeup off sitting at the beach,
Not
and
me yet.
so yeah, really. I had to find a beach. I had to shovel myself out of here, but no, but seriously, I think the more real you are and transparent, then people start to trust you, and they Google you. They'll go out and Google you, and if they can't find you, then they've automatically have those perceptions of who you are.
Good point. Good point. And personally, I think. Sorry, I'm petting my cat over here. But I personally think that bringing the video back into that, there should be one about video about you, and you optimize that and get that one on the front page of Google that really shows who you are. Actually, there's a to-do list for anybody out there. If it's a business, if it's an office, get a video, one specific video that's going to talk about your office, and have that. It isn't difficult to get it to the front page of Google if you know what you're doing, and get that video, because you just said they're going to Google about you, but those videos are going to build that trust, and so you really want to get those videos. So that's kind of off the subject of Facebook, but if you're doing that YouTube video, make sure when you're putting on Facebook, download it and re-upload it specifically for Facebook. That's the key point.
Well, I mean, we were talking about YouTube, but honestly, video is, if it's social. And in your Facebook news feed, if you have it loaded automatically in your Facebook page, it will automatically play as people are scrolling through.
Exactly.
Most people don't have their phones set, so you have to push a button. Most of the times when you're scrolling through, it'll automatically play.
Yep.
So if they're just super short clips of them having fun, or having a conversation with the dentist, or with a patient, and it's 30 seconds, you get a lot more traction out of that than if you're trying to send them somewhere else too.
Exactly. I completely agree. Well, let's get to the last point we want to talk about is not counting solely on Facebook. I think that Facebook is a great place, and we talked a little bit about this, but I want to talk about figuring out what other social networks could possibly work for your business. Everybody's business is different, so not all social networks work for every business. If you're not a B2B, is LinkedIn the answer? Possibly not. If you are targeting women, should you be on Pinterest? I'd say yes. You know, I mean, it depends on what your product is, but most likely, yes. And the thing is, every place is different. Pinterest, for instance, what I love about Pinterest, and Google Plus is another place that does this too, is the lifeline of a post, the lifeline of an image that you put on there is much longer. And so, right. I mean, I did a 2014 infographic last year in November. That thing has still been shared throughout the entire year on Pinterest.
Awesome.
But it was forgotten about on Facebook. So it's super important to choose and find 1, 2 other social networks that you can really focus on. And I want to back that up with, don't go on all of them. You know, I mean, don't try to do too many, because Carrie actually posted, Carrie from Ideal Girl Media, she posted a great post. So shout out to her. Hi, Carrie. She posted a great post that it talked about specifically about the lifeline of that post, you know, of how long that post will last and what it will do for you. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that and paying attention to the other places. You don't want to have a C on all the social networks. You want to have an A on a couple of them. Does that make sense, Lisa, to you?
Yeah, and you have to also remember, what's your platform? Because these social media channels they're not, you don't own them. So anything can happen. So you cannot rely solely on 1 or 2 platforms. But if your blog is set up and you're using the content on your website or your blog, which they're one and the same many times, but if you're using that content on Facebook, take that and make sure it's on your blog, and do the same thing on your blog and put it on Pinterest.
Completely agree. Mm-hmm.
You know, I think we have to realize where's your foundation, and that foundation has to be strong. And a lot of times and I am very guilty of this, is you fail to work on your foundation because you're building this massive house, and that's on Pinterest or Facebook or Instagram. And I truly believe that we need to take a look at what's the foundation, what's the message here, and remember that that should be your priority, and then you push it out to the feelers. Because if Facebook says, you know what, we're done, we're out of here, we're no longer, all of that content that you've put your heart and soul and effort into is gone. And so that's why I'm a big advocate of, let's take a look at your foundation first before you invest a ton of time or money.
Foundation then. So what is the foundation? So specify this. The foundation.
The foundation is really your website, the one that you own.
Yeah.
It's your website. It's your name. It's your domain. It's, you know, the content that you write. You should be able to go to your website and find the same things there, and it might be in different locations that you have on Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest, because everything should lead right back to that. And
you got it. Mm-hmm. And your email list. Well, in your email list, that you own your email list is yours.
Right.
So, you know, that's even more direct, because you can send out messages there versus, you know, the website. So if the opt-ins, the email list, the website, and then picking your, you know, what's going to drive that traffic to your website? What is going to drive the traffic to your email list? And that's kind of the thing to look at. So going backwards and going, oh my gosh, I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Pinterest, I'm on Instagram. Oh, I was told to try this whatever Elo or something, I don't know.
Hey, teachers of that already.
I jumped on it, but I went, I can't. No, but watch it go crazy. But you're on all that. Let's back it all up. Sit back, take a
Yeah.
breath, and go, where am I going to get the most traffic? Where is my target market? And get those people, use a couple platforms to get those people onto your email list and your website.
Right.
Yes, yes, I completely agree. So it's all about being creative. In 2015, like Lisa and I just had this conversation, we think ad costs on Facebook will more than likely go up.
Absolutely.
And you know, if you don't have a very specific strategy in place, you could lose a lot of money doing it. So you really need to know what you're doing with Facebook ads, and you know, possibly look at the LinkedIn ads, the Twitter ads, the other platforms too. Does it mean you should leave Facebook? I'm not going to answer that for anybody. I'm just not. You know, I would say no, but
you have to think about your business as a social aspect. If you're building a business and you're sitting in a cubicle and not making any connections, you're not going to have a business. So it's very similar to any of these social networks. They were all built on the premise that we want people to connect and communicate. So if you're using Facebook only to post promotions, you're not going to win, and you'll get stressed and frustrated and stop doing it. If you can use Facebook to promote and to share, you know, value content or things that people like humanity-wise, like maybe you're at a fundraiser and you're helping out there, people will more than likely rather respond to that than just a blatant ad. And so you'll have more traction. You spend $10 getting that out in front of somebody versus $10 getting a coupon, you're going to have more traction. So just remember, it's still social. It's still social.
Yep, social. Then you promote and you pay for that promotion starting in 2015 on Facebook. So that's just the way it is. So we all have to go with the changes, no matter who you are. We all have to go with the change. So if you deal with the internet, it's a daily. It's a weekly, daily. It's just change. So Lisa, let's finish up with. Do you have? I'm going to ask you. Do you have something that people can do to take action within the next 24 hours? What would you, out of what we talked about, what would you say?
Honestly, I would love to see somebody do a quick video about themselves with their cell phone and then post it directly to their Facebook page. And see what kind of traction they get. So take your cell phone, do a quick video, talk a little bit about yourself or what you're doing in the day, and post it to Facebook. That's my call to action, because people need to break that video.
And if they like Instagram and are on there, probably start with that even. They can just, you only have to hit the Instagram video thing and off you go. So yeah, great. Okay, easy tip. Very easy. So if you are here and have watched our shows and you're watching through YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button. It's here somewhere. I don't know where exactly, but I know there's been a subscribe button on here. So be sure to subscribe so that you are alerted to future shows. We bring on different experts. We have had some amazing guests that have taught so much information about social media and any types of marketing. And so we'd love to have you subscribe to our channel.
And if you're listening to the show on a podcast on iTunes, we would love to have you subscribe on iTunes. Feel free to leave a comment and then share your podcast with other people as well. But subscribe to it so that you get the updates. And then we are show number 38. So if you would like to download the transcription, you can go to socialmediahangouttime.com/38. And then you're also welcome to spread the whole content and podcast to your audience by going to socialmediahangouttime.com/love. So either way, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on podcast, or on iTunes. We certainly appreciate you, your audience, and would look forward to your comments.
Yeah, thanks a lot for your time.
Have a great week, everyone.